Hello and welcome, Cheesers, to another update video. Didn't want to have to make another one of these, but unfortunately we're in the position where I do. So this is basically going to be a Protocol Cheese Part 2. So based off the last video, yeah, this is essentially just a continuation update of that one. So let's get into it. If you didn't watch the last Moto, so basically at the end of that one, I went through how we're going to be putting the Infinite, not just the go-kart series, but just Infinite in general on hiatus. So the go-kart series, we got 2 weeks in, and after the second week, for many reasons that I'm going to go through here in a second, decided to put it on hiatus, and yeah, basically indefinitely. So we don't really know when the go-kart season is going to get going again, or when Infinite just stuff in general is going to get going again. It's basically just a matter, basically the ball is in 343's court. It depends on them. So until there's an update that makes the game like playable, we're just not going to do stuff on Infinite with the way that it is right now. So yeah, so let's go into the reasons why we decided to put it on hiatus. So there's basically one reason, and there's some other ones that I wrote as well, but basically everything stems from this one thing. So the lag is just unbearable. The lag is just unbearable. It's absurd. It's simply, and you could talk about like desync servers, whatever, you know, it's everything. The game, it's both, and it's other things. It's the game, in my opinion, and I've been saying this not even just for racing and custom games, just the game in general online is just broken at its core. Like something is just functionally, foundationally wrong. Like I'm convinced there's some piece of code that is fucked at the core of the game, and they just can't figure it out, how to adjust it, or if they adjust it, they have to go through 1,000 other things. Like, I don't know what exactly it is, but I'm just convinced that there's, like, something at the core of the game that is just fucked, and they don't know how to fix it, or it's just too much time to fix it, or whatever the fuck it is. But that's basically been my opinion ever since the game's come out. This is not even just a racing thing in particular, a customs thing, mongoose vehicle thing. This is just how I feel about the game in general, because the lag is really terrible in the base game as well. It's not just with the vehicles. Now, don't get me wrong. The reason why we're ending it is because it's really bad with the vehicles. It's worse with the vehicles, I think, but it's just bad in general. And yeah, something's just wrong. Something's just not right with this game, and it's just not acceptable for 2023 standards. And yeah, so basically because of that lag, the racing is just fake. Like we're not racing. We're not actually racing. Like we're competing against the lag, you know? We're not competing against ourselves. We're not competing against others in the lobby. We're just competing against the lag. That's what it feels like. And that is the main reason why. But again, like you could really say the sole reason why we're not gonna run, because it's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. And it's just gonna drive me and others crazy if we try to make it work, because it just doesn't work. I wish we lived in a universe where it did, and we'd be like continuing with our Infinite plans, but unfortunately we don't, and we have to we have to improvise. So yeah, so the lag, that's basically it. The lag is just terrible. The game is just terrible. Okay, so other reasons, even though that's the real reason, some other things I'll mention too. It's just too much effort to forge in this game for how bad the racing is. So, like, there's still tracks that would need to be made to finish this season, and I'm just not going to put in the effort of forging these for how bad the racing is with how bad the game is. So yeah, it's just too much effort for too little return. I'm simply just not going to put the effort in for how bad the product is. Another one, people, we did like kind of a vote, and it wasn't like a perfect vote. I believe the majority of people still wanted to end things, but it wasn't, there were some people that wanted to continue. But my thing is that even people that wanted to continue and wanted to finish out the season, I think were okay with it ending. And that should say something. Like, even when the people that want to continue things are not, like, super passionate, and you know, their reaction when I say that we're done is like, oh, you know, that's understandable. Like, I see why. You know, like, that should be a sign. That should tell you something. Like, okay, yeah, like, if even the people that want to keep doing things are when we announce that it's done, just like not super passionate about it and just okay with the decision, then that should tell you that like, oh yes, the things must be bad if even the people that want to keep going are just not super excited about it. So that's another thing too. And the final thing I'll say on it, the lobbies were just quickly dwindling. Now, it's not too rare for us to have less people, like even on the second week already. Like that's pretty common. But it was getting really bad with people quitting in the middle of races and also just not even like showing up. And I think it was going to get worse. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we kept going, if we had like, I'm not even kidding, like a lobby of like 4 to 6, 6 is being optimistic by the time we got to the last race. And that's just not worth my time. I don't mind running with less people. Or for example, like in some of our Sunday races last season, there would be nights where we had 6 people. Generally, we had more, but there would be like an occasional night where we had 6 people. And I'm okay with that. Like if it happens, sometimes if it happens, like you never know who's going to be busy when, and sometimes it like stacks up on the same weekend. It doesn't bother me. And also sometimes racing with 6 people is low-key kind of refreshing in a way. I know usually the first thing you hear, usually people are like super disappointed with it, but low-key after racing with like big lobbies, I find it kind of refreshing sometimes. But if it's getting to the point where that's going to be every week, and again, like I think that's where it would be, I think it would get to that point where it'd be every week would be that few, then yeah, it's just like not worth my time. It's just not worth my time if that's going to be every week. And also it's just disappointing. It's just really hard to sit through that from a management perspective of like everybody quitting out and, it just obviously not being a good time. That's just like really hard to sit through. So I'm not going to sit through it. We're going to stop it. So yeah, so that's like all the reasons why. And yes, we're just not doing, again, go-kart is on hiatus. I should explain this quickly. So we're not like canceling the go-kart season. If we do resume Infinite, we will resume the go-kart season and finish it out. Now, how are we going to do it exactly? I'm not exactly sure. Personally, I do not, and this is saying from the person that is in the points lead, I don't want to keep the same points because I just don't feel that the racing is real. So I don't know if we'll do seeding or if we'll do something like that, some type of bonus points or something from the first few races that we ran. But yeah, I would like to continue this go-kart season and finish it out when we're, hopefully able to do Infinite in the future. But I don't want to do like the exact points and stuff that we had because again, like it's just, I think it's worthy of a reset, and I just don't think that the racing was really great or just real with how bad it is in this game. So that's how I feel about that. And essentially it's a thing where like it's not too important right now because right now it could be another year. Like we don't know the timeline. You know what I mean? We don't know this season 3 update. I was going to bring this up too. The season 3 update for Infinite is coming in a couple weeks, and our plan for like when we return to Infinite is when these updates come out, if the updates address the lag and the servers and desync and stuff like that, we'll do test nights. So for example, I imagine this season 3 update that is coming out very soon, I imagine that it will probably have some type of server, some type of desync improvements. I would hope it will. And if it does, then we'll be doing a test night on it. I think it's very likely that we'll be doing a test night on Infinite, at least one in March after that update. So I'm just putting that out there. I think it's very, very likely that we will be doing that. And that's what we're going to continue doing. That's basically the plan for Infinite, is it's just on hiatus. Whenever these updates come out, we'll do test nights, and hopefully eventually there's an update that like actually fixes it, and that's when Infinite will be back. So if you had a question on that, like, okay, we're, Infinite's on hiatus, when is it going to come back? We don't really know. We don't really know, right? It could be however long. Maybe it never does. Maybe they never fix it. Like, that's a realistic possibility. So don't get your hopes up for it. Like, for example, for me, I'm not doing any forging anymore on Infinite until we have like a promising update, because I just don't see a reason to. So yeah, like I'm not, don't get the wrong impression here. I'm not saying like, okay, we're coming back to Infinite in a year. We're coming back to Infinite in the summer. You know what I mean? Whenever it's ready. And if it's never ready, then it's never ready. That's basically it. But if you're still interested in Infinite stuff, look out for the test nights, because we will absolutely do those again whenever there's updates. Okay, so that was a massive, we're going all over the place on the tangent there. Bringing it back to one of my original thoughts. Yeah, so like the go-kart season continuing, it's basically a thing where it's like we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. You know, I don't know exactly how we'll do the points. I don't know exactly how we'll do how many races there are. If we want to rerun tracks, I don't know. It's basically one of those things where, like, don't worry about it right now. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But if we do return to Infinite someday, we will finish that out. Okay, so I think I got everything that I wanted to say out on Infinite for this video. Again, like, all the reasons it didn't work. I went through what we'll do with the go-kart series and what we'll do in general when it's back. After we're done with go-kart, we'll continue with our other plans too. Should point that out. So yeah, I went through why it didn't work. I went through what we'll do in the case that, you know, hopefully it works. I went through what we'll do in the meantime, checking out updates and stuff like that. So yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything that I wanted to say on Infinite. So let's get into the other stuff. So we still have stuff to do. Still have a league to run. Still have events we want to do. So what's our plan? What's our plan now that Infinite is just cheesed? Okay. So, plans for 2023 now. So we're starting up Firehog. So Firehog was going to be on Sunday, was going to be last Sunday, and now it's going to be this Friday. I believe it'll be tomorrow from when this video should be uploaded. That Friday. So yeah, Firehog basically just taking over the Friday slots, and essentially our plans for the Sunday series, those are going to be the primary series on Fridays now. That's basically the 2023 plan. So there'd be 4 of them. Firehog is the first one that we're doing, and then we'll do World of Outlaws Season 5, and then we'll do a Rallycross series. So if you're disappointed about, like, you know, with Infinite, the MX Nationals, like, if you're excited about that, I'm sure a lot of people were excited about that. Get excited about the Rallycross series. Get excited about that, because I think Rallycross, you know, it's a long time coming that we've done that we should do like just a straight Rallycross season, and I think we could do some really cool stuff with it. Also, the other 2 series too, like WoW Season 5, World of Outlaws Season 4 is one of my favorite HRL seasons ever. So I'm really excited about doing a Season 5. It'll be a lot of the same tracks with some new stuff too. And also Firehog. We're doing freaking Firehog. It's happening. We're doing a straight hog series. It's crazy. That'll be fun too. So yeah, Firehog, World of Outlaw, Rallycross. And then I'm really hoping that Infinite is working at the end of the year, and I'm hoping that we can resume Infinite by the end of the year. I'm really, like, fingers crossed, hoping that's the case. If it's not, then we'll do a main series 2 on MCC. So like a second MCC main series as opposed to the one that we did back in 2022. So we'll run another main series on MCC. Maybe with a different look. Maybe we'll throw some Rallycross in there. Maybe we'll throw some WoW in there. We'll throw some SX in there. We'll throw some GPs in there. We'll throw everything in there. Maybe we'll throw some hog races in the MCC main series too. You know, we have a lot of things we could do with it. We could go really crazy with that if we wanted to. And if Infinite's still not working, I'm sure we will. I'm sure we'll go crazy and just make that a wacky season to end off the year, if we do have to do it. So if you can't tell from the tone of what I'm saying, I'm hoping that we don't have to do that. I don't mind doing Firehog. I don't mind doing World of Outlaw. I don't mind doing Rallycross. I'm really looking forward to these 3 in particular. And yeah, it's a fun backup plan. I want to, you know, I'm inspired by it. I think it'll be fun. But personally, I really don't want to have to do that main series 2 on MCC. I really hope that Infinite is working by then. But if not, that's the plan. So yeah, so that's the ideas with the primary series. So you might be thinking, like, okay, well, those are the primary series. What about Sundays? Because we're still wanting to do stuff on Sundays. So basically, my ideas with Sundays. So we're gonna do tournaments. We're gonna do like solo race nights, like solo events, and we're gonna do a Tier S year-long series on Sundays. So basically, Sundays are not going to have like a full-on season like we had in 2022. There won't be any of those on Sundays, but there will still be lots of racing on Sundays. We will do, like I said, different tournaments. In March, we're already going to have a elimination tournament in March, and I'm sure we'll do other stuff like that throughout the year. So we'll have tournaments. We'll have, I mentioned solo nights. Solo nights will be things like a power hour. I have some examples, actually. I'll go through them here. So some examples for like things that we'll do on Sundays. I have an idea for a Halo 4 World of Outlaw throwback night. So we have some old Halo 4 tracks on MCC still for World of Outlaw, but we don't have enough to do like a half and half series like I'd like to do for World of Outlaw Season 5. So instead of these Halo 4 tracks being a part of World of Outlaw Season 5, we'll keep World of Outlaw Season 5 just being like H2A like it was in Season 4. But on Sunday, we'll do a Sunday night where it's the 2 tracks that we have, Boston Raceway and Eldora Speedway, and we'll do a couple motos on them in one night and just do like a Halo 4 World of Outlaw throwback night. And that'll just be it. Like I mentioned in the Protocol Cheese video, like race nights, like it's not going to be a tournament. It's not going to be something like that. It's not going to be a season. It's just going to be a one night thing, a one night like overall event is how I would look at it. So, yeah, I'm actually really excited for it. I've been wanting to do things like this. I mentioned it in the Protocol Cheese video. I've been wanting to do things like this, race nights like this, not attached to like a season or a tournament for a long time, because it frees up a lot of space for like experimentation and stuff like that, without having to commit to a season or a tournament. I've been wanting to do it forever, and I'm really looking forward to doing it. Now that Infinite's chalked, like I think this is a good backup plan. I think there's some really cool stuff we could do with it. So yeah, that Halo 4 World of Outlaw night, that was an idea. I had an idea for a multi-class night. We've been wanting to experiment with multi-class, so we could do a night where it's like a multi-class race on like Road America, for example, could be a good track to test it out. So we could do that. And then I mentioned the Hog Power Hour. People have been asking for it, wanted to do that. That could happen. Oh yeah, Kratos. We still got to do Kratos. That's perfect. Kratos is perfect. Kratos is perfect for an idea like this. We could do a Kratos night. So add that to the list as well. So there's plenty of ideas for this, plenty of things we can do, and plenty of things that we will do. So yeah, the different tournaments, the different like solo nights, and then I'll explain the TRS year-long series. So instead of my original plan was to have TRS be, and I think this is a pretty cool idea, so I'll go through it. My original plan was to have TRS be the last season in those primary seasons. So it was going to be Firehog, World of Outlaw, Rallycross, and then if Infinite still wasn't fixed, we'd do TRS to end out the year. I changed my mind on that because I got a cool idea for how we could do TRS throughout the year and have it be like kind of a reoccurring thing. The thing that I would compare this to is like the stage format for Halo 5 last year, but like I think this will be a lot more enjoyable. I think this is a much better implementation of it. So here's the idea. So we have the multiple games that we can do for TRS, right? We've got Halo 3, we've got Halo Reach, we've got Halo 4, and Halo 2 Anniversary, and then later in the year, if they get it working, we could have Infinite as well. So my thought was like, instead of doing a TRS, instead of doing a straight up TRS, I think it'd be TRS Season 7, right? I believe it'd be Season 7, because I think the last one was Season 6. Instead of doing like a straight up TRS Season 7, we could do something a little bit different with TRS. And my idea for it was splitting up the different games of TRS into little mini seasons throughout the year. So for example, like in March or April, we could do like Halo 3, and we could do like 3 Sunday nights of like Halo 3 TRS. And then that could be that. And then in a couple months we could do Halo 4, and there'd be, maybe a month of Halo 4, and then a couple months we could do like a month of H2A, a couple months we could do Reach, whatever. And then maybe Infinite at the end of the year too if it's ready. And basically just do these mini like 3 to 4 week long seasons of TRS throughout the year, just specifically focused on the different games, right? These little mini seasons for their specific game. And then at the end of the year, we could end off the Sunday cheese, like all of the Sunday cheese, with an absolute banger TRS grand final. And just have that last Sunday night be that, combo crazy TRS grand final like we did with TRS Season 6, where it's like the 2 tracks for each game, and it's just like the 8 race, like crazy night. We could do something like that. So yeah, I think it'd be a really cool idea. I think it's gonna be cool to split up TRS like that. And specifically for TRS, I think it'll be really refreshing for people to have those constant breaks from it. Because I think even though I liked TRS Season 6, I think doing all those tracks and doing all those races and doing them all in a row and stuff like that, I think it could be a lot for some people because of how frustrating. Like, TRS can be really fun, but it can also be really frustrating. So I think, like, having those constant breaks and, again, like, switching from game to game, I think it'll be really refreshing, and I think it'll be really nice for TRS. But yeah, Oh, and then we might do like the stage thing too, where like your results from each game adds up to like an overall points. We might do that too, as well. I'm not decided on that right now. It's just doing the mini seasons and just having them be their own thing, like a TRS Halo 3 season, TRS Halo 4 or whatever. But we could do like the stage thing too, where they all add up too. We could do that as well to have it be like a year-long like tournament for TRS. So yeah, I like the idea for that a lot. I think it's really cool, and I think it works really well for TRS. I think it makes a lot of sense for TRS, and I think it'll essentially be like that stage idea for Halo 5 last year, but just I think this will just work so much better. And I think the fact that it'll have breaks in between will just make it work so much better. So yeah, I spent a lot of time in this video talking about it. So I like that idea. I like that idea a lot, as you can tell from how much I've talked about it. So yeah, so that's basically it for the Sunday plans. I gave the primary series like Friday plans, and that's the Sunday plans. We'll have that TRS year-long thing that'll go on throughout. There'll be breaks, but it'll go on like throughout the year. Those different TRS mini-series will fill our Sunday nights, and then we'll also have those solo nights with different ideas and like tournaments throughout the year too. So there'll be a lot of Sunday action. So if you can only do Sundays, or if you just preferred the Sunday time slot, don't be too upset, because there's going to be a lot of stuff on a Sunday. And even though there might end up being like slightly less racing on Sundays overall, there's going to be a lot greater of a variety of racing on Sundays. There's going to be a lot more stuff that we're going to do on Sundays. A lot more like different stuff. So yeah, I think that'll make up for it a bit. Okay. Yeah, I know this one went on a little long, but there's a lot to discuss. And also, another thing I wanted to mention at the end, I want to, with these last comments on like the Sunday ideas and the primary series and stuff, I wanted to like kind of, hopefully get the morale up a little bit. So I'm going to be doing a trailer. The trailer will be coming out on the race day for Firehog, which, by the way, I have not announced the Firehog track, the first track, and that is with reason. I'm leaving it as a surprise. I have a cool idea for what we could do for the first Hog track to open up our first Hog series. I'm still working on it, but I'm going to release a trailer the day of, hopefully around noon. And that trailer it won't just be a Hog trailer, and it won't just be that Hog track trailer. It'll be a Hog trailer. It'll be that surprise Hog track trailer. And it'll also be a trailer that like addresses the rest of 2023 and addresses like the shortcoming of Infinite and the start. It'll be like an all-encompassing thing, and I want that trailer, and I'll do other stuff like it to kind of bring morale back, because I think that's kind of important. I think this start with Infinite and it being so disappointing, and all the roadmap plans having to go to Plan B, I think it's probably like kind of a damper on the morale for a lot of people. So I'm gonna do that trailer to try to like bring that back. I want to try to bring that back a little bit, because I really like these ideas, especially like I love the series I love the primary seasons that we're gonna do. I think they're gonna be really fun, and I love the Sunday plans because the new Sunday plans just open up so many possibilities. I think it's gonna be great. Yeah. So I'll stop chatting. I hope that really clears things up, though. I know I talked for a lot in this video, but I just wanted to like clear everything up. Trying to stay transparent with that stuff. So I hope it cleared all that up. Oh, of course, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments as well. I'll be happy to address anything. Or ideas for the Sunday stuff, because like I said, the Sunday idea leaves so many possibilities. So if you have any ideas for that, mention that. One last thing that I forgot to mention, I want to bring it up because I forgot to mention it. When we do that Infinite test, because I know Roman brought it up on the Discord about like doing the Hogs instead. The next Infinite test that we do for that Season 3 update, we'll do something with the Hogs. We'll find a track that's good to test them out on, and we'll do a Hog test as well. So we won't just test the Goose, we'll test the Hogs as well to look for a different way forward on Infinite too. All right, again, I hope that cleared everything up. Yeah, expect the race videos to be regular again, because we'll actually have films consistently for Hog. I'm looking forward to that. So consistent videos will come back, and I'll try to do more cool trailers and stuff like that for especially these first couple months to try to bring the morale back with Infinite. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, I'll see you guys all at blank. I can't reveal it yet. I don't want to spoil. I'll see you guys all at a track on Friday to kick off our first ever Hog series. Looking forward to it. See you there.